Today at Mr. Media, I'll talk to Angela Crocker, author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Creating a Social Network. Stick around. I might just accept an invitation to join your online party if you do. Show is brought to you today by Audible. Audible is offering Mr. Media listeners a free audiobook download and a 14-day trial offer to give you a chance to check out their amazing service. You can choose a free audiobook from Audible's library of thousands of titles, including today's top social media bestsellers, such as Social Media 101 by Chris Brogan, Seth Godin's Poke the Box, or even Full Brain Marketing for the Small Business by DJ Hex. You could even download the biography of comic book and graphic novel legend Will Eisner, A Spirited Life, which I wrote, just can't pronounce, and I will even read it to you. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/radio. Again, that's audibletrial.com/radio for your free audiobook. Mr. Media is recorded live before a studio audience of people who think social media is code for sharing their nakedness with the world from the comfort of their living room studio in the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. If you're savvy enough to figure out how to watch or listen to Mr. Media online, I think you're ready for the next big step, creating a social network for your business, organization, or hobby. Sure, you can accumulate friends on Facebook or even MySpace if you're thinking down low, but for business or other organized activities, you might want to think about a social network service you can tailor to your own specific needs. Now, Angela Crocker is the author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Creating a Social Network. She's full of tips for where to set up a network, how to organize it, how to draw a crowd, and even how to make it profitable. She can also overhaul the transmission on a '68 Mustang in 20 minutes flat. A unique, talented girl, this one. Angela Crocker, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thanks so much, Bob. I'm glad to be here.
Happy to have you. Appreciate it. I got to tell you, I was shocked, and I mean shocked, Angela, to see that you started your book with an apology on the inside front cover for anyone insulted by the word idiots in the title. How in the heck did you get away with that?
Well, I put it in. It was not even a question. I do think that the play in the series title is grand, but I don't want anybody to be offended. It's meant to be helpful, and I'm hoping that I'm giving them lots of advice that they can use and take them out of that idiot mindset and make them feel smart.
But the publisher let you put that in. I'm very surprised. They're usually very sensitive about that.
I couldn't say what their reaction was other than no response. That's all I heard.
Interesting. And, you know, besides, by the time someone buys the book, gets it home, and reads the inside front cover, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that they're comfortable with being recognized as an idiot, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Enough kidding aside. Now, I teach social media for beginners on occasion, and
Right.
I think a lot of otherwise smart people are reduced to babbling idiots when it comes to tackling social media for the first time. I mean, it's kind of like trying to tackle or trying to overcome the Great Wall of China barefoot and alone.
Yes.
So is it that much harder to make the leap to organizing your own network?
No, it really isn't. I mean, the skills that you need are all based on marketing principles. You want to build a community, to create a space for people to gather and talk about whatever it is that they are united from, but in terms of your product or service. And going on to create your own network is really not any more complicated than having a WordPress blog on your website. It's a piece of technology that either you can set up or someone else can set up. And then once it's installed, it's a matter of using it just as you use Facebook, as you use Twitter or LinkedIn. There's status updates, photo sharing, all sorts of things. And it's the language of social networking through social media.
Is there a steep learning curve to get the hang of it, or is it just like using Facebook to that degree? I mean, once you start, it's pretty intuitive.
It's pretty intuitive. Most of the tools have a similar look and feel. They use comparable language that we're already familiar with from things like Facebook. Upload a photo is upload a photo. Your bio is a bio. Those kinds of things remain the same. There's a little bit of technical know-how in the background on some of the tools that gives you the opportunity to add features. Not every network defaults to have everything from video sharing and photo sharing and a forum and discussion boards and private relationships all right out of the box. Sometimes you've got to add some extra pieces to make the functionality come around to what you want it to be. And that's part of the beauty of it.
And what kind of basic understanding of social media should someone have before trying to set up a social network like we're talking about?
I think they want to have a rudimentary understanding, having participated in a few communities of some kind, whether it's Facebook or something else. But really, a lot of these things, you could think of them as private Facebook. You're creating your own environment to interact with fans, friends, followers, customers, whatever you want to call them. I've seen people use these kind of networks to organize family reunions. So there may only be 75 or 100 people, but they want somewhere that's a little more private and that they have more control over to put family history, contact information, birth dates, death dates, all of that kind of thing. Addresses sometimes. But then you get much bigger communities. There's one that I use as an example in the book that is called Zootopia, and it's the online community of the band U2. And their fans come, and there's, I would assume thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who participate at Zootopia. So it can really take a big range.
So who would be a good candidate for establishing their own network? What's kind of a range of...
Any business that is technically savvy enough to understand how they're going to maintain the community. It's not something to just jump into. Those are good candidates. Community organizations, family groups, those kinds of things are great. And also not-for-profit organizations. There's one organization that I saw use it that I really like, and it's spouses of servicemen and women whose partners are serving in the American Army in Afghanistan or Iraq. And they have a private network. I haven't visited inside of it, but I like the philosophy of what they're doing. And they're creating a safe space for people to share that experience and support each other behind a closed door so that they can be honest about what they're experiencing and share real resources about I'm sure there are many, many trials to that situation. And so it's mostly service wives, I believe, although husbands are certainly welcome. And that's just a great use of the space.
Facebook, MySpace, things like that tend to be very inclusive. Is it safe to describe what we're talking about as very exclusive?
Not at all. It's up to the network owner whether you want to invite the world and make it public and open, anybody can join, or if you want to make it something private that's only for your family or your not-for-profit group, depending on what your objectives are.
Do large businesses, you mentioned U2 using this for their fans, do large businesses tend to set this type of thing up for their customers to interact and talk about how wonderful the product is, for example?
Absolutely. Some of the biggest brands using these networks are things like Procter and Gamble, like Heinz. So a lot of the basketball teams in the NBA have got communities that they've built. It doesn't have to be a big brand, but the bigger the brand, the more resources they have and the more bells and whistles and customization they can put into their community.
So let's say we're building a site. You and I, we're building fans of Angela and Bob. This would be a very small group. Maybe your mom, my mom, and well, that's probably going to be about it, frankly.
Sure, okay.
But what kind of features would we want to give them in this network?
Well, at its most basic, we'd want to provide the opportunity to share status updates, links, photos, and videos. I think those are basic sharing content. What's happening? What do I find interesting? What will your mom find interesting that my mom finds interesting? That kind of thing. And then you want to add in the opportunity to have relationships. So to be able to say that Bob's connected to Bob's mom and Angela's connected to Angela's mom, but our moms may not know each other until they become part of the same community. And once that happens, then they can get to know each other and they could choose to become friends or connections. There's usually friends is the best word. Some of the tools use different language, but ultimately it's about a reciprocal relationship where I know things about you, you know things about me, rather than a broadcast relationship where it's just one way. I'm sending a message and everybody else can hear it and there's no opportunity to respond.
Now it sounds like mutual blackmail, Angela.
Well, what Facebook is, Bob? I mean, anybody in your profile, are they there because they want to be there, or are they?
I I only allow new friends on my Facebook account who seem to have something that they're holding over my head.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
okay.
no, 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 no,
I
no.
better
Let's
gather some dirt.
yeah, no, 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 no. Let's not encourage anyone to start doing that. Um, that would not be pretty. Um, so this would be appropriate for, I guess, businesses of different sizes, nonprofits, even maybe I think I mentioned in the introduction, like a hobby group, like people who
Oh, absolutely.
people who do like to tinker with '68 Mustangs, for example, like yourself.
Sure, sure. I know so much about Mustangs. There are some great groups. One of the ones I loved and used as an example is called the Shards of Orn. It's a live action role playing group. I think they were in Tennessee, but I may have that wrong. And they have created a community where they continue their live action roles in the virtual environment, and they interact in character on the network. And they also have a part of the network that's a more practical organizational side. Where are they going to meet in the real world? Who's got the permissions? Who's bringing the food? That kind of thing. And there's lots of groups for different interests, crafts. NASCAR has a group or has a social network. It's just a matter of what your interests are. Odds are there's a community out there, and if you're connected to those people offline, then you can ask around and figure out where they are. And if not, Google's your friend. Go looking. You'll be amazed what you find.
Who knew NASCAR fans could type? No, no, no,
Oh, I,
don't. Time out. Don't. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Um,
I'm more of an indie rally girl myself.
oh, okay. Hey, you show taste. There you go. Well, look, let's take a quick break.
Sure.
Much more to talk about. This is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to and hopefully watching the Mr. Media interview with Angela Crocker, the author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Creating a Social Network. And we will be right back.